Welcome back. Welcome back to the Gaming Nexus show. It's been a while and we would like to apologize in advance because it may be another while before you hear our lovely voices again. But, people be busy. People be doing all the things, especially us. So, my wonderful co-host Kelly Gray is not here with us today. However, we do have a very, very special treat for all of you. I had the privilege to interview Patricia Summersett, who is the first official English voice for Zelda from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, Zelda Breath of the Wild has been out for now 9 years. But that trailer came out 10 years ago. So, since then, she has been the voice for Zelda for the last 10 years. The following is the interview that I thought was only going to take 10-15 minutes. It went a full 35. Also, I had this bang-up intro for her, and I botched the recording because I didn't have the mic on. So I'm going to try to reduplicate it right now, and then we'll come in right where she responds from the intro. So sit back, relax, enjoy your coffee or your Egg McMuffin or whatever you're doing, and just freak out with me, because that's exactly what I wanted to do. I freaked out. So, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't ever start off interviews like that, but I'm going to start off this interview like that because I want everything to be proper. I want you to understand where you are and what you're doing right now. You are listening to probably one of the best things to listen to. You are right now. Bow down, because you're in the presence of greatness.
Whoa!
That's right. Masters
Oh,
in classical acting, ice dancing, and the first ever English voice of Zelda from the Legend of Zelda. Not only are you bowing down to a princess, you are bowing down to a legend. Not a legend in the sense of, oh, she did these things. A legend in the sense of, oh, she's doing these things. Bow down to the Princess of Hyrule. Bow down to Patricia
oh,
Summersett.
wow. I have done some interviews in my time, but rarely have I witnessed and been privy to and had the privilege of receiving such a warm welcome. Thank you, Joseph.
I am here to give said warm welcome. Um, let's just get into it. But before we get into it, I like to start these interviews with flowers, if you don't mind. Um, some
I
people
don't
don't
mind
get
at
their
all.
flowers, and I gave you a little bit of the flowers, but
An
here's more of
entire
the flowers.
bouquet of silent princess flowers that,
Well,
yeah,
you see
am
what
I
she did
right?
there? Yeah, y'all
I
see
do.
what she's already in it. She's already in here. Um, from Michigan. So I don't know if we're allowed to continue this interview because I'm from Ohio.
Oh, well, I mean, unless it depends on what sports teams are warring against whom, but I think really more I'm like, you're a fellow Midwesterner. So I just think of it. I go for unification first. I'm like, yay, we both come from the Midwest. We understand the Great Lakes and the crazy weather and the good people, the good salty people.
Good
All
salty
right.
people. They're very salty. We cross out our M's. Why? We don't need to do that. I don't even think
Well,
Michigan cares about Ohio State, to be honest with you, but that's another story. back to the interview because we can go off on tangents. Um, span the work spans stage, screen, voice, and performance capture. She has a band, y'all. She has a band, Summersett, a piece folk band, folk ensemble, based in Montreal, Quebec. Patricia has a master's in classical acting from the Royal Central School in London and a BFA in theater performance from Concordia in Montreal. More flowers. She is the first official English voice. I said this a little bit ago. First official English voice of Princess Zelda from The Legend of Zelda. Um, she has been in movies such as Mother, Patty Winger, Doctor Zoe, and she's been in TV shows like The Bold Type. And my editor in chief is going to be mad at me if I don't acknowledge the fact that you have been in Star Trek. The role you played in Star Trek, if I can find it here, you were the Breen leader Primarch Tahal in Star Trek. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is accurate. You've also
It was
done
a
voice
highlight.
acting for video games such as Hell Is Us, Star Wars Outlaws and Squadrons, Assassin's Creed games, Horizon Forbidden West, and Far Cry. There is a trivia thing on IMDb, which you can go check out for yourself, that Patricia has completed the geek trifecta by being in Star Wars, Star Trek, and The Legend of Zelda, which is crazy.
I guess
Last
that's
thing,
one version of a geek trifecta.
there's one
Because you could
version.
have others. I think Doctor Who could be considered part of a trifecta. Trying to think of some other. I mean, there are a
Were
few,
you in
but
Doctor Who?
no,
No.
no, I was not in Doctor Who. No,
Are you
dang
going
it.
to be in Doctor Who? Is that what you're about to announce right now?
Who? What? No, I absolutely am not about to announce that. That would be super cool, but no, no, can't win them all. Can't
My
win 'em.
last thing is that you were a sectional champion in ice dancing.
Yes, and I love that you mentioned that because that's come up recently just watching the Olympics. It's now gotten to the point where the people that I used to train with when I was younger in Montreal, where a lot of the coaching is happening, I was on the ice with I'm gonna say it in French because that's how it's Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon. They're the coaches for some of the top teams in the world for ice dancing. They are now world class coaches. At the time I was skating, I was training with them. They were the world class figure skaters. So it's really crazy to watch everybody sort of move up through those ranks. And yeah, Piper Gillis, her brother used to skate with my sister, just really crazy stuff like that where you're like, oh my gosh. So the level of like visceral rooting for people at the moment
Yeah,
in the Olympics it's been real. It's been like really special the last couple of weeks to watch them all do really well. So yeah.
yeah.
Um,
We kind of cleaned up out there. Well,
mm,
both USA and Canada.
by the US, yes, true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
Who did
right.
you root for more?
I mean, well, I'll be honest. Right now, I mean, what you have is like I was so Chalk and Bates. They're amazing. I'm rooting for them any day. But Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, who ended with a beautiful bronze medal in ice dancing,
Mm-hmm.
I was very much rooting for them. They represent Canada, but also Piper is an American as well. So like me, she's dual, and I just kind of I'm looking for the figure skaters themselves versus the country in that situation because they're both so cool. And for them to be there on the podium at all was they've just overcome such incredible, impossible feats. So yeah, both countries very much.
Do you
I'm
do
not
you
gonna
ever
be.
see yourself like going back into anything like that?
Well, not. So I got back on the ice this last year, and I'll tell you a little secret. I fell on my head in November and
Oh,
gave myself a concussion.
oh no.
So I'm off the ice now for a good chunk. It's been very humbling. But I will get on the ice at some point again soon and get back into the skating. But it doesn't hold the same place that it used to. It's more like be wary, make sure you're insured, go back on like with the right energy and don't do what I did in November where I got a little bit loosey goosey and excited and went into a spin and got caught in my clothes and fell on my head.
Oh
So
man.
yeah,
But you're okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm here now. I'm fine.
Because there's a lot still left in the tank for you. You have
There's,
things to do. You have responsibilities now. Okay.
I do.
I need you to get it together. Okay. So
Uh, yeah.
uh you are, again, we've talked about this is the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda. Um and you are the first official English voice of Zelda. How does this even happen? How does it, 'cause theatrical background, as we know, but how does this, even with the voiceovers of the previous games and everything, how does this even happen? Like, how do you get here?
It feels like just this strange bout of timing and luck, as these things kind of always are. I had made a move to LA back in 2016, and weirdly, without me realizing what the project was, because it was secret, the script was bleached, it was one of the first things that I auditioned for when I got down to LA. And it was after, acting for 10 years, doing the thing, acting in Canada, in all the genres, doing my London thing, coming back. And then it finally got to the point where I was like, I got to go to LA to specialize more in voice acting at this point. And I did, and I was rewarded for that massively with this, which is exceptional. It just doesn't happen very often. So I'm always looking back and kind of just, I don't know, shaking my head at it and going, wow, just wow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was an audition, it was an audition. So
And you get the call that you're gonna be Zelda, right? What
yeah.
what happens? Like, what do you do? Like, cause I know if it were me, no one would be able to tell me anything. Like, I'd be
Well, and
like,
they didn't tell me over the phone.
oh,
I got the call that I had a part in this game that I'd auditioned for, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've landed a role in a game. I was just hoping to make a great impression. I've made an impression. I got my first role in this game down here. I'm so excited. Then I went into studio, and then I signed the NDAs, and then right before we recorded the trailer for that very first Breath of the Wild trailer
mm,
back in 2016,
mm,
then they said, by the way, this is Zelda, so this is what you're going to be doing. And we all just had a moment, and my moment was like, you have got to be kidding me. You just don't expect anything like that to happen to you. It's really wild. We can use that word.
I mean,
Like skydiving,
I like what you did there. It was wild.
Thank you.
She's an actor. Um,
Or
had you played the game? Have you played the game? Yes, you've
I
played the game.
have. I
Okay,
played a few of the games. I
okay.
played the original
You know,
Ocarina.
some people don't. They do the voice acting and then they're like, I did it. I saw
I
myself.
wasn't the most diehard Zelda fan that exists. I've met them all now. I think I've met the most diehard fans, and I can't touch that. I really can't.
Mm,
But I can touch my enthusiasm for the game franchise and the storytelling. I can touch it with that. I've done much to
for
do to throw my heart into it over the last 10 years.
Have you seen any of the reaction videos of people hearing Zelda talk for the because it's the first time, right? Silent
Yeah.
protagonist, has been a Zelda thing. You read the text, whatever, but when Zelda speaks that first time, when she first says the Link, wake up Link, and
Yeah.
like people lost their minds. How does that feel being on the other side of that?
Like pressure. I mean, well, I think when I did see those videos on that first year, when after that first trailer came out at E3, which no longer
I
exists,
know, it's so sad.
I really liked E3. I'd gone to several of them,
Mm,
but once that trailer came out and it started to do the rounds, I can't speak, and create a bit of hype, I was like, oh wow, this is going to be very interesting. I mean, by that point, I'd already started to like practice the Hyrule Historia and look at what I needed to do to try to fill out the character. And but a lot of the recording had yet to be completed, so I was like, "Whew, okay, just focus on the work at hand. Focus on the script." But yeah, no, I felt that I was like, "This, ooh, there's some serious momentum behind this, and it's starting to reveal itself in this really interesting way." But yeah, I did see a few of them. Yeah,
yeah, like again, it's a phenomenal thing to be a part of. Again, the game's been around for 40 years, but to be a part of of the Breath of the Wild. What is it, 7 years, 8 years ago? 8 years ago?
9.
9 years
Mm-hmm.
ago?
Because 2017 was when it was released. Right. Yeah. 27 March of 2017. Yeah, we're now in 2026. So I started recording this, and the first trailer was released in 2016. My involvement has already been 10
10
years. Isn't
years.
that wild? Yeah, a quarter of the franchise. Now, when you think about it, because we're
Yeah.
celebrating the
Yeah.
40th anniversary. Yeah, who knew, right? I mean, yeah.
It is.
Um,
It's you. You're now. I'm gonna say this.
uh-oh.
You are the Charles Martinet of Zelda, right? Charles Martinet, he gave the first voice lines to Mario. You are now the Charles Martinet of Zelda. You
I guess you could put it like that.
right? Kind of
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
And you've
Um,
done you've done
oh,
Breath of the Wild, you've done
right.
Tears of the Kingdom, you've done Calamity,
Mhm.
you've done Imprisonment. And I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna be like, well, see you later, Patricia. Like you've done it up like you're the voice of Zelda from here on until you decide that you don't want to be the voice of Zelda anymore at this
I
point.
never make that
I,
assumption.
I don't want to
I
make that assumption either, but
I really never do. I really just wait until they call me for the next project and I go, "Oh wow, you can't predict that it's going to go for 10 years."
yeah,
I didn't know it was going to happen after the first game, regardless of the success. People were like, "Oh, they'll make a sequel, I'm sure." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you just have no idea who's making the decisions, what parts of the company have swapped over, if the decision makers have shifted at Nintendo America. Like you can't really ever tell until you're asked back into the room if you're going to be asked back in. I don't know they own the IP, so I've always just been really grateful when I have been asked back, and it is extraordinary now that so much has evolved over the last 10 years, being a part of that process. Um, it's like 10 years of crazy images from around the world and cosplay and amazing art and so many people with personal stories connected to the franchise. And when I think of the 10 years, I think of that. Like, these games are so innovative and amazing. And then you have all the people who played them and the fact that it's a worldwide thing to enjoy. Yeah, I'm like, I just really know as an actor, I got so lucky. So I hope there's more luck to come, but
yeah. I
you
when
never
you
really
make
know.
do you make appearances at like conventions and uh, people who like invite voice? Do you make these appearances and like do you have to run that by Nintendo or how does that work?
That's a great question. A really important distinction for me for this franchise is that I do not represent the company.
Mm,
Um, that is something that everybody's pretty clear about. I'm a voice actor, so when I go to a convention, I'm representing several characters, like the ones you mentioned. Another big one is Ash from Rainbow Six Siege. That's 10 years running as well. So while Zelda's the most popular, I'd say by far, you also get quite a lot of these other franchises too, Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six being two of the bigger ones. And we'll keep going. We'll see like their projects coming up. But yeah, the convention space is interesting for that, and award ceremonies and all that stuff. So I ride that line. I go there as a voice actor, as an actor,
yes.
not as somebody who's representing Nintendo.
So they're not like any like you can't do this because you are Zelda. There's not any like restrictions
No.
or anything. That's
No, I mean,
amazing.
what I have to do is honor the IP and the contracts that I've
Right.
signed about all the privacy and nobody really wants me to go into great depth about super, super details of the process of making the game or stuff that might actually still be confidential that could come up later as something I wasn't supposed to reveal. And most of the time, I'm not entirely sure what those details are going to be, so I play it safe, and
Yeah.
that's worked out for me so far. And actually, for me to sort of like, record the voice, that would be me violating the IP agreement that I have to, if I were to sort of record the voice and get paid for it and go around and do impressions of Zelda, that's something that I just know I can't do that. So I really do my best to honor that as well. I know it's like boring, but you know what I will do is if people come up to me at conventions or during a Q&A or really anytime, like I'll whisper in their ear, I'll have a moment with them as long as they're not recording. I prefer like
Right.
the one-on-ones are great.
Right.
But yeah.
Which is why and stop asking if she's gonna do the voice. She's not gonna do it. All right. Stop asking. You stop it. All right. Don't ask. You get out of here. No, no, get out of the comments asking for the. She's not gonna do
If
it.
you're asking, I'm so sorry,
She's not gonna do it.
yeah, hopefully I'll meet you in
She,
person and we
you know,
can.
she doesn't owe you anything. Chat. She doesn't owe you anything. Comment section. Huh? This is her. Let her be her. Calm down. All right. Sorry, I had to talk to them for a second. Um,
I can't say
have
those
you
things.
ever ad-libbed or suggested any lines for Zelda beyond the script?
Oh, that's a really great question. Hmm. This is one of those processes, like in other video games, absolutely, but this one is such a tight
Mm-hmm.
dub
Yes.
that's already being translated. So you do occasionally tweak the dialogue as you're all doing it in a room,
Mm-hmm.
but you have writers on site, you have a translator on site, you have like a bunch of people sort of weighing in on that process and what the lip flaps and the music of the line is going to be doing. So really, there's not a lot of room for that. Where I think my innovative and or sort of like personal touch comes in is, in sort of breadth or levels and the different variations that I can give them on the interpretation before they choose what they think is working best. Hari Lee, the director, she's directed the last three things. She's directed Tears of the Kingdom, the Zelda app notes that came back. That was like
Oh my
Encyclopedia
God.
of Hyrule. That was so much recording, and there were long, long phrases. And then Age of Imprisonment as well. She helped with that as well. So I have her in the room bouncing ideas and context off of me, and then she's also communicating with several people. So it's like a really interesting collaborative effort in the room when you're recording that way. It's good people. It's good people. Good vibes.
How long do these sessions usually take? What would you say? Average?
They're kind of a typical. You're usually recording for 4-hour sessions. That's sort of the sort of typical 4-hour thing that you do, and then you might have a series of like 10 sessions that take place over several months.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of. I mean, I would say like that's one version of standard recording. And yeah, that's it. Pretty much applies to this too. Sometimes it can take longer as the game is continuing to develop. You might come back in and record, and then you might do some re-records as things kind of continue to get drawn and processed and everything. So, but yeah, 4-hour sessions are usually the standard.
Okay. Okay. I keep wanting to look into more like what improv and theater and all that stuff. You dip your toes into all that stuff, and then you just kind of like, well, what's next, right? Um, but these interviews are actually starting to getting me into that stuff, and I'm like, we'll see. Um, are we allowed to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about the 8-piece band?
the 8-piece band.
You have a
We can talk
band
about
called.
it
Oh,
if you
it's
want
maybe
to
it's
talk
not 8-piece.
about.
And I'll cut
Well,
that out.
actually, it is. Yeah,
Is it
it's
8-piece? Yeah.
yeah at its full max. We
Oh,
play from two
piano
to
and voice duo at first, and then
yeah.
it can go to an 8-piece.
Yeah, but the collective, they're all such important parts of, and we've played a lot together over the years. This year, not so much because, quite frankly, I'm traveling most of the time,
Mm.
and the band is sort of like after we released our last album in 2023, we did some shows, but we're kind of back to the drawing board. The piano voice duo, Nick and myself, back to the drawing board, and might be thinking of creating an EP. So it starts with us, and then we sort of depending on the song, give it to the other band members, and they might create percussion and bass line and help us develop harmonies around it. We love violin and cello. Those are usually written pieces. Like Nick will write those, and then we'll bring in people, and then we'll all sort of configure and collaborate together. So the process of that is as fun as the music itself. But if you want to know about that band, what I would say about it is that what makes it so great to do and so special is the fact that it's original music that we get to create, and it doesn't need to be anything commercial. It doesn't need to go anywhere. It's been that kind of, fresh air
Yeah.
in the last years of all these other things that, you have really strong stipulations about how a project is supposed to look and be and who owns the final product. And for music like that, it's just everybody loves doing it. We're so happy when we get a chance to do it, and musicians just want to play music.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. Do you think that's the
Are you
most?
a musician as well? I feel like you're a musician
I,
as well.
I I've been a 13
Yeah.
piece band called the Conspiracy Band. Cheap plug.
Oh, that's so cool.
Um, We're based out of Columbus, Ohio. The band has been around in different iterations for 35 years,
Oh my
and but we do
God.
cover stuff. Like we don't do anything original. I used to do original music, and I got out of it. But I know, I mean, there's a lot of musicians. I know a lot of musicians, and it's probably one of the most freeing things to do because you can create your own. You're not under any obligation. You're not trying to meet nobody's deadlines. It's up to you. If you want to put the music out, you put the music out. So which do you find the music more freeing for you as a as a performer, because you're all around. I mean, I can ice skate for anything. So uh, you are a performer, but you have your masters and all these other things, and then you do the ice skate. Like you do, you're a jack of all trades. Which is the most freeing,
Mm,
and what do you love to do the most? I guess out of
is it?
everything, or is it
I'm
all
really
just
one of
like
those.
all
I mean,
encompassing?
I will say that some of my happiest moments on earth, where you think, wow, I'm sitting here in a moment of complete ecstasy, complete bliss, has been in the middle of more the rehearsal process
Mm.
for
Mm-hmm.
with the band than the performance itself. Because I always find when you're doing a live performance, you have things like just tech issues and it's hard to be perfect in a space and to hear properly and to feel like so completely involved when you have a lot of people on stage. There are moments, but I would say my happiest moments have been in band rehearsals when you're just running through the song and everybody's jamming,
Yeah.
just that simple act for each other, just having a great old time, smiling, goofing around. Um, wonderful moments. But I do love everything, and I think they all go together, all the different genres, and they inform each other. And you just need to be in practice somehow creatively. Doesn't really matter necessarily what it is or what the outcome is supposed to be. I think it's just a muscle that needs to be continuously developed in whatever way it can. So find that way, right? And um, I think that's one of the ways I try to say yes to everything is just for that purpose, just to continue to be a creative. I mean, it's nice to get accolades for projects that aren't your own, that other people spent
Yeah.
many years developing and funding. Like, I can't, complain about that either.
I, I,
It's nice to have a bit of both.
yeah, and I don't, I don't think any of it. I don't think saying that something is like the creative process, but I don't think that's complaining about it, because I love everything I do, but there is a couple of things where I like this. I just got back from a WWE event with
Oh, cool.
Gaming Nexus, and
Were you
I've not
hosting or
traveled,
interviewing?
huh?
Were you hosting or interviewing, or what were you
It
doing
well
exactly?
there to play the game early, but they took us to WWE headquarters, and
Ooh, okay, okay,
yeah, it
cool.
was super cool. But I've traveled
Oh,
more being with Gaming Nexus than I ever have in my life, and it's more to play like video games. And to me, these are like dream come true moments. Like this, this is gonna sound hokey, but I am interviewing the voice of Zelda, who has been the voice of Zelda for 10 years. And if you would have asked me 10, 20, 30 years ago that this was, I've been hyping myself up all week about it. If you would have told me
oh,
10, 20, 30 years
oh,
ago,
thank you. My
no,
God.
for real, like, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate, them reaching out. But, like, these interviews, I've seen how these go before, and some of them are very stuffy, right? um, I want to be a fan, but I want to be professional, but I want to be also the person who is not taking advantage of something like this, right? This is to me, it means more of the world to me for you to sit down and take some of your time to talk to me. But it also feels like, you deserve, any because you're doing, you've probably heard this 10 times Tuesday, but you're doing bigger things than you could ever fathom, right? You are making dreams
It's
come
true.
true for somebody,
Oh, well,
but you're
thank you.
but you're
Yeah.
also doing something that everybody has always wanted to do. You gave a voice to an iconic character who's been around for 40 years, and if nobody ever thanks you for that, let me be the first, right? No, for real.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you
Joseph.
for giving me your time, for giving us your time, for giving the Zelda universe your time, but more so just being a down to earth person.
No, thank you. I was thinking, my very first cosplay growing up was Shira, Princess of Power, and
Yes.
I would look at that now, like when I did land Zelda, I realized that it's not Shira, but it's pretty darn
It's
close, and
pretty
it's an
damn close.
amazing thing that you can look at your child self and go, she would be amazed right now
Yeah.
that I'm doing this. It's a breathtaking moment. I have goosebumps just thinking about it. And much to your point, where you're like, how are you traveling around now with for gaming and interviewing and playing games, and maybe you thought of touring. I had wanted to tour with the band. I'd wanted to work on film productions and travel broadly. I never got to do that really, but I did do it weirdly through Comic Cons.
Yeah.
So gaming was my engine and avenue to do all those things in a slightly different format than what I would have expected. And yet I've still done the thing. It's just not, it doesn't look exactly how you expect it to, but it's there. It'd be silly not to recognize how amazing that is, how it does come to fruition.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about what's next?
I mean, I said this, talk about it vaguely. Unfortunately, I've got like two projects that I'm pretty excited about. They
Okay.
both have involved performance capture.
Oh
They've been
yeah.
going for a little while, and I can't talk, like, I can't even like hint at anything about them, but to say I'm it's been exciting. One of them's been quite a new IP, and it's very exciting to work with people on a new IP and a new group of actors and writers, and so yeah, that's cool too. So I'm oftentimes people ask me like, what big franchise do you want to work with or game company that you haven't worked with yet? And I'm like, basically all of them. Like, of course I would. It's also really nice to work on just new material. So I'm just happy to be working, and I'm happy to be in the room with people who are open and cool. I start there every day because that's where all the creative stuff happens, regardless of what it looks like, regardless what the game ends up doing at this point. And just focusing on those things because it
Yeah.
makes a better game, makes a better product, makes a better actor, you know. So, but yeah, I'm excited for those things. Those things are coming, and potentially an EP by the end of this year. We were
Ooh.
writing on the theme of opulence. That's something we've
Ooh.
been thinking about for the last year, and it keeps coming back up. So I think we're going to start to hammer in more, with more veracity at that coming up soon because we got a lot of half drafts,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So as you know, it takes a long time,
Yes.
long
I
time to
know.
get to that process to do
And
it.
not even from a perfectionist standpoint. You go,
Yeah,
I could record that better, and you go back and record it better, and you're like, I could record that better, and be like, no,
I know.
you're good. It's fine.
Yeah,
And
you know it. You know it.
lastly, where can they find you? Where can and if there are any socials or any places they can follow you, the band, anything like
Yeah.
that?
My socials, I've actually pared them down a little bit. Like I'm still in those other places, but I'm not trying to be active on much more
Good
than
for you.
Instagram. It's really like a mental health thing, and just with the enshittification of the internet and how it's gotten so wildly out of control. And just, desperately sad news all the time. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
I just need to limit myself so I can be hopeful in the world. But like Instagram, at Somerset underscore, and my website, patriciasummersett.com. And I forgot to mention actually, I've got appearances this year. I haven't
Oh
done a
yes.
convention in like 9 months, but I've got several coming up this year. So I'll be back out there for that. Maybe a few announcements coming up where I might make some interesting appearances that aren't out in public yet. But I'm kind of excited. I'm waiting to see when, and how I can announce that. And yeah, and like charity events. I've been doing a lot of those. So I got one coming up tomorrow in Idaho, for a really special little charity that I'm doing with my partner, Roger Craig Smith. And
Nice.
we're gonna go and do a signing and a meet and greet for this thing. So we enjoy doing that. That's one other amazing offshoot of doing this character that has become like easier, is like you can just kind of get involved in certain charity work and stuff too, which is it's good.
They can just throw you right
I
into
like
it.
it.
They throw you right into it. Patricia, I could sit here and talk to you all day. But as we said, Zoom is going to kick us off of here because we're cheap. Listen, thank you so
Oh,
much for this time. Um, and I lied, guys. I said the interview was going to be 10 minutes. It was all 40. So just deal with it. Just deal with it. She's easy to talk to. What are you gonna do?
God.
It's Zelda. It's not every day you get to sit and talk to Zelda. Or Patricia Summersett.
Or Patricia Summersett.
Or Patricia
Thank
Summersett.
you. Thank you for having me. And I had noticed somewhere during that you got the beautiful with the heart cards.
Oh
like
yes,
that,
yes,
which
yes.
is very,
I Nintendo'd out a little bit.
very tasty.
You know, you
Yeah.
audio here, you're not gonna see it. It's fine, whatever. But yeah, I Nintendo'd out a little bit. I might freak out after this call's over. Who knows? Who knows? But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we appreciate you. Joseph Moore with Gaming Nexus. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. We out.